For Jim Donovan, the Browns knocked off the Ravens 29-24. You know it's a good day when Petey doesn't have his voice because that means the Browns won. And the Browns and Jameis Winston gave us the true Jameis Winston experience at the end. From throwing a game-losing interception to throwing the game-winning touchdown to Cedric Tillman. We got offense, we had fun, and it was an incredible win for the Browns, who showed resiliency throughout the game, took a lead, lost the lead, took it back, lost it, took it back and forth. But the Browns showed us what we thought they had in them all season long. And all it took was, well, a play caller change, a quarterback change, and an offensive line that played their asses off today. I mean, the Browns offense, by far the best it has looked all year. Jameis Winston, 321 yards on the ground, not quite as, quick moving as we would have hoped it to be, but they also had some good runs with Chubb and Deontay Foreman. But ultimately, the Browns offense got it done when they had to make the plays they needed to at the end of the game. Down one, finding Tillman for a touchdown. Just incredible stuff for a city and a team and a fan base that so desperately needed something to cheer for. But let's talk about what everyone wants to talk about, and that is, wow, look at the Browns offense with Jameis Winston in at quarterback. And yeah, Jameis Winston outplayed Deshaun Watson. Outplayed better than Deshaun Watson had played all season long. 27 for 41, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. We definitely got the Jameis experience, meaning there'll be highs and there'll be lows. The difference was the Ravens did not capitalize on the Jameis experience. I mean, 2 just blatantly dropped interceptions, one by Kyle Hamilton at the end of the game, which probably would have ended the game, not for sure, but most likely. And then way earlier in the game in the red zone as well. But Jameis, he gives us the Jameis experience, which is downfield passing. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to take shots. But overall, if you're looking for a true difference between what we saw today with Jameis and Dorsey versus Stefanski and Watson, I don't think the play calling was drastically different. I don't think that we saw way more runs or passes under Dorsey than we did under Stefanski. To me, I just saw, honestly, a higher level of execution. I mean, Winston had time in the pocket. Now, he also got the ball out quicker, and he also went to some of the shorter reads and not always looking for the big home run play, which Watson got caught doing at times. But I think we can all agree, like DeJuan Jones, for the most part, held his own at left tackle. Keep him at left tackle. Bye-bye Jed Wills. And you had your 4 other starting offensive linemen healthy and at their usual positions. So for me, the big difference I noticed between the 2 sets of what you had with Watson and Stefanski and Winston and Dorsey was you had a higher level of execution across the board. And then you also had Jameis Winston making some really good throws. I mean, of course, that touchdown to Cedric Tillman was on the money, but even leading up to that touchdown, on target, on time. Like, go back earlier in that drive. He finds Elijah Moore on 3rd and 7. That's a pass that's just on time. I mean, there were a lot of really good plays from Winston, and we also had some heart attack plays from Jameis, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We're going to have some fun this year. At 2-6, I mean, I personally am not going to stand up here and say, oh, they're about to win 10 in a row and make the playoffs. No, I'm going to stand here and say, can we have some fun this year? Because the first half of the season has not been fun. Cedric Tillman, by the way, best game of his career by a mile. 7 grabs, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns. Short term, love to see the development for him. Long term, hopefully you kind of have a head start on your Amari Cooper replacement search for your next wide receiver 1 next year, because Tillman and Jerry Jeudy are essentially the only 2 producing receivers on the roster for next year. By the way, Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore all having really good games as well. All 3 Browns receivers were involved. And of course, David Njoku is addicted to playing his best when the backup is on the field. It's as if Njoku just has this second, sixth sense come through when, oh, the backup's in? I'm going to make sure I fight for every single yard for this team. 5 grabs, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Now, I want to talk about the defense next on our post-game show, but I do have to give a quick shout-out to our sponsor today, which is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 10 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. I'm talking turning $10 into $1,000. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Meanwhile, let's talk about the Browns defense today against a really good Ravens offense. And listen, the Browns defense, I don't think put out like teach tape, but ultimately they made the stop at the end when they had to. Now, the big storyline coming out from the defense is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He left the game on a cart with a neck injury after tackling Derrick Henry. A scary scene for a really young and emerging player on this Browns defense. I don't have anything more to offer other than a neck injury, and we probably won't get anything more for at least another day or two. But fingers crossed, toes crossed that JOK is going to be okay, and we'll see him back on the field at some point this season. But for the most part, this Ravens offense, I mean, sure, they got theirs, and Lamar is going to make his plays. He's not going to get tackled by the first defender very often. But at the end of the game, when Lamar had the football with a timeout and a minute to go and a chance to be a hero for the Charm City, no, the dog pound got the last word. So shout out to this Browns defense. Do I want to see them play every single Sunday like this? Probably not. Are they going to play the Ravens offense every single Sunday? Definitely not. So for this Sunday, they made the plays at the end of the game they had to make, and they can just build off of that and improve as this team tries to find some confidence and swagger and pride to play with, because at 2-6, that's hard to find. But I'm testing this locker room to continue to not just let this be a one-off, but be a resilient bunch that's going to play hard every single Sunday moving forward. What a win. I mean, what a win. Jim Donovan, a legend, unfortunately passing away on Saturday. And the very next day, the Browns at home give him, I mean, probably the best win he could ask for as he's smiling down from above, a home win against the Baltimore Ravens. Incredible performance by Jameis, making a lot of big throws. Cedric Tillman, Nick Chubb playing all 4 quarters. But if you want a sneaky underlying story, I'm giving a big game ball to the offensive line. I mean, they gave Jameis time. They opened up some runs for Chubb and Foreman. This offensive line looked 100 times better than it had looked all season long. And a big reason why, because DeJuan Jones, I think, was in there at left tackle. And you get Ethan Posick back at center. Plus, you get Wyatt Teller back from injured reserve and in at right guard. So you get 4 of your starters back on the offensive line, and you get DeJuan Jones in at left tackle, where he looked way more comfortable for some reason than he had looked all game, all season long. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, by the way, because we're still doing watch parties. We're not going anywhere. We're giving you guys daily content. So hit that sub button down below if you are looking for a free go-to Browns YouTube channel.